Hello, Year 4. Today is Wednesday, the 10th of February, and your learning question for today is, can I work out fractions calculations? Okay, so you're looking at fraction calculations today on page 23. Before we start, I just want to let you have a go of this little warm-up. So it says true or false, 1/3 of the shape is shaded. So have a look. How many parts is the shape made up of? That'll tell you whether or not it's going to be in thirds. So true or false, is the shape that third of the shape that's shaded? Okay, so have a go. Okay, so I showed you briefly yesterday what a numerator and a denominator was. I didn't label them, but I pointed them out to you. Okay, so a numerator is the number that sits on top of the fraction, and this number shows us how many parts we have out of the whole number. Okay, and your denominator is the total number of parts in the whole. So if I had a pie and I had 5 slices left of my pie and it was cut into 8s, then it would be 5/8. Okay, so I would have 5 out of 8 slices. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so your first question is asking you to work out the answer to these fraction calculations. Okay, so the first one is 5/8 take away 4/8. Now, what do you notice about the denominator? They are the same. So that means that your denominator in your answer will also be the same. Okay, so for all of these different calculations in question 1, all of the denominators are the same in each question. You haven't got a question where you've got 5/8 take away 4/10, if that makes sense. So your denominator in each question is the same. So that means that in your answer, your denominator will be the same as the denominators in your number sentences in your calculations. Okay, so it'll be 8. And then all you're doing simply is taking 5 away from 4. So I know that 5 take away 4 gives me 1. So then my answer is 1/8. Okay, so it's quite simple, this one. You're just taking away the top numbers, or you're adding the top numbers depending what the question's asking you to do. Your denominator, the bottom number, is going to stay the same each time. Now for question 2, it's a little bit trickier. Okay, so it's asking you to complete these fraction calculations. So you have 5/8 of 48. Now I want you to pause the video here and have a think about what it is you might have to do to work out this calculation, and then I want you to press play when you are ready to listen to the explanation of what we need to do and see if you were right. So press pause and then press play again when you are ready. Okay, so hopefully you've had a little guess at what you might have to do. Now I'm going to break it down for you, okay? So the first thing that you're going to do is look at your whole number. Our whole number is 48. Okay, then you're going to look at your denominator, and here it's 8. Now, in order to work out the answer to this question, it's a two-step method to working out the answer. So the first step is a division, and then the second step is a multiplication. So you're going to do 48 divided by 8. Which will give me the answer 6. So part 1 is always a division. Okay, so step 1 is a division, and that is 48 divided by 8. That gives me the answer 6. Your second part is then a multiplication. You take your answer, which is 6 from step 1, and you multiply it by the top number, the numerator, which is 5. And that gives us an answer of 30. So 5/8 of 48 is 30, okay? So if you were to do 1/2 of 100, you would do 100 divided by 2, which is 50, times by 1, which is 50. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Remember the 2-part steps in order to get to your answer. Your first will always be division, your second will be a multiplication. Okay, try your best. Let me know how you get on. Okay, so your final part of your worksheet today is asking you to work out the answers to the word problems. So you've got some word problems that you need to work out the answer to. Now the method in answering these is the same as question 2. So question 2 is asking you to complete the fraction calculations. You're doing a very similar thing, except that it's giving you a context. So a scenario in how the numbers are being used, and you've just got to pick the numbers out and do the same method as what you did for question 2. Okay, so I've taken the first one, which we're going to do together, and then I want you to have a go of 2 and 3 on your own. So it says Claire has 48 pairs of shoes, 3/4 of them are red. How many pairs of red shoes does Claire have? So I'm going to rewrite my fraction calculation just so it's easier for me to see the key bits of information. So straight away I can see that I'm finding 3/4 of 48. The next thing is 48 divided by 4. So I know that 11 times 4 is 44, and 12 times 4 is 48. So my answer will be 12. So 48 divided by 4 is 12. Moving on to part 2, 12 times 3. Well, I know that 11 times 3 is 33, so 12 times 3 must be 36. Therefore, Claire has 36 red shoes. Okay, so it's all about picking out the key numbers from the question, writing them down in a method that is simpler to understand, that only focuses on key information, then doing your 2-step method again with your division and your multiplication. When you write your answer out, make it clear to me that it is 36 red shoes. If you just put the number 36, I don't know what it is that you're telling me about. It could be 36 pears, grapes, cars, trees. You need to make it clear what the answer is, because that's how you get your marks, okay? So try your best with that one. It is the exact same method as question 2, except you've got it's written in a word problem instead. So I would break it down so it looks very similar to question 2, so then you can do it step by step to get your answer, okay? Now, today's questions have used a lot of multiplication and division, so you need to be getting confident with your times table knowledge. If you are still struggling with your fractions, go on to TT for 5-10 minutes a day, every day that you're doing home learning, just to build up your multiplication knowledge, so then you can become more confident in answering questions like fraction calculations, okay? Because I think that'll really help you when you come to break down the questions into steps. Now your challenge for today is explain how the diagram shows both 2/3 and 4/6. So looking back on to Monday where you were marking on fractions, and looking back on Tuesday when you were circling equivalent fractions, you're doing a very similar thing here. They both have the same, they both represent the same amount of something, it's just that they're represented differently in a fraction, okay? So tell me how that represents 4/6 but 2/3, okay? Have a go, try your best, and let me know by sending in your answer to the Year 4 email. Okay, your reflection for today is something that I have learned today is. So you've learned how to work out fraction calculations. So it might be I have learned a two-step method to help me work out fraction calculations. I have been able to recognise how to add and subtract fractions when the denominator is the same. It might be I have learned how to answer word problems and break them down to make them easier for me for when I have to answer them. Okay, and as always, please send in any photos of your home learning. I'd like to see your starter and your challenge as well. Remember, I do Marvellous Bee shout outs for the quickest child that replies to my starters and my challenges. So please, 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 maybe one day it could be you. I know on Monday it was Riley, so let's see who it can be today. And try your best. As always, send in using the Year 4 email address, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.